in my power, I may dismiss this court unless Bellario, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today.
My lord, here stays without a messenger with letters from the doctor, new come from Padua.
Bring us a letter. Call the messenger.
Good cheer, Antonio. What man courage yet? The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones, and all. Ere thou shalt lose for me is one drop of blood.
I am a tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops first to the ground. And so let me. You cannot be better employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph.
Came you from Padua, from Bellario?
For both, my lord. Bellario greets your grace.
Why dost thou whet thy knife so earnestly?
To cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt there.
Not on thy soul, but on thy soul, harsh Jew. Thou makest thy knife keen, but no metal can. No, not the hangman's axe, nor half the keenness of thy sharp envy. Can no prayers pierce thee?
No, none that thou hast wit enough to make.
Oh, be thou damned, for thy life, let justice be accused. Thou almost makes me waver in my faith, to hold opinion with Pythagoras, that souls of animals infuse themselves into the trunks of men. Thy currish spirit governed a wolf, who, hanged for human slaughter, even from the gallows did his foul soul fleet. And while thou layest in thy unhallowed dam, infused itself in thee. For thy desires are wolfish, bloody, starved, and ravenous.
Till thou canst rail the seal from off my bond, thou but offendest thy lungs to speak so loud. Repair thy wit, good youth, or will fall to careless ruin. I stand here for the law.
This letter from Bellario doth commend a young and learned doctor to our court. Where is he?
He attendeth here hard by, to know your answer, whether you'll admit him.
With all my heart, some 3 or 4 of you go give him courteous conduct to this place. Meantime, the court shall hear Bellario's letter.
Your grace shall understand that at the receipt of your letter I am very sick. But in the instant that your messenger came, in loving visitation was with me a young doctor of Rome. His name is Balthazar. I acquainted him with the cause and controversy between the Jew and Antonio the merchant. We turned over many books together. He is furnished with my opinion, which, bettered with his own learning, the greatness whereof I cannot enough commend, comes with him at my importunity to fill up your grace's request in my stead. I beseech you, let his lack of years be no impediment to let him lack a reverend estimation. For I never knew so young a body with so old a head. I leave him to your gracious acceptance, whose trial shall better publish his commendation.
You hear the learned Bellario, what he writes, and here, I take it, is the doctor come. Give me your hand. Come you from old Bellario?
I did, my lord.
You are welcome. Take your place. Are you acquainted with the difference that holds this present question in the court?
I am informed thoroughly of the cause. Which is the merchant here, and which the Jew?
Antonio and old Shylock both stand forth.
Is your name Shylock?
Shylock is my name.
Of a strange nature is the suit you follow, yet in such rule that the Venetian law cannot impugn you as you do proceed. You stand within his danger, do you not?
Aye, so he says.
Do you confess the bond?
I do.
Then must the Jew be merciful?
On what compulsion must I? Tell me that.
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea. Which it thou follow, the strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there.
My deeds upon my head. I crave the law, the penalty and the forfeit of my bond.
Is he not able to discharge the money?
Yes, here I tender it for him in the court. Ye twice the sum. If that will not suffice, I will be bound to pay it 10 times over. On forfeit of my hands, my head, my heart, that malice bears down truth. And I beseech you, to do a great right, to do a little wrong, and curb this cruel devil of his will.
It must not be. There's no power in Venice can alter a decree established. 'Twill be recorded for a president, and many an error by the same example will run into the state. It cannot be.
A Daniel come to judgment, yea, a Daniel, a wise young judge. How I do honor thee.
I pray you, let me look upon the bond.
Here 'tis, the most reverend doctor.
Shylock, there's thrice thy money offered thee.
An oath, an oath. I have an oath in heaven. Shall I lay perjury upon my soul? No, not for Venice.
Why, this bond is forfeit, and lawfully by this Jew may claim a pound of flesh, to be by him cut off nearest the merchant's heart. Be merciful, take thrice thy money, bid me tear the bond.
When it is paid, according to the tenor, it doth appear you are a worthy judge. You know the law. Your exposition hath been most sound. I charge you by the law. Whereof you are a well-deserving pillar. Proceed to judgment, by my soul I swear. There is no power in the tongue of man to alter me. I stay here on my bond.
Most heartily, I do beseech the court to give the judgment.
Why then, thus it is. You must prepare your bosom for his knife.
Oh, noble judge, oh, excellent young man.
For the intent and purpose of the law hath full relation to the penalty, which here appeareth due upon the bond.
'Tis very true. O wise and upright judge, how much more elder art thou than thy look?
Therefore lay bare your bosom.
Aye, his breast. So says the bond, doth it not, noble judge? Nearest his heart. Those are the very words.
It is so. Are there balance here to weigh the flesh?
I have them ready.
Have by some surgeon, Shylock, on your charge, to stop his wounds, lest he do bleed to death.
Is it so nominated in the bond?
It is not so expressed, but what of that? 'Twere good you do so much for charity.
Is it in the bond? I cannot find it in the bond.
You merchant, have you anything to say?
But little, I am armed and well prepared. Give me your hand, Bassanio. Fare you well. Grieve not that I am fallen to this for you, for herein fortune shows herself more kind than is her custom. It is still her use to let the wretched man outlive his wealth, to view with hollow eye and wrinkled brow an age of poverty, from which lingering penance such misery doth she cut me off. Commend me to your honorable wife. Tell her the process of Antonio's end. Say how I loved you, speak me fair in death, and when my tale is told, bid her be judge whether Bassanio had not once a love. Repent but you that you shall lose your friend, and he repents not that he pays your debt. For if the Jew do cut but deep enough, I'll pay it presently with all my heart.
Antonio, I am married to a wife which is dear to me as life itself. But life itself, my wife, and all the world are not esteemed to me above thy life. I would lose all, I sacrifice them all, here to this devil to deliver you.
Your wife would give you little thanks for that if she were by to hear you make that offer.
I too have a wife, who I protest I love. I wish that she were in heaven, so I can entreat some power to change the courage due.
'Tis well you offer it behind her back, the which would make an unquiet house.
These be Christian husbands. I have a daughter. Would any of the stock of Barabbas have been her husband, but a Christian? We trifle time. I pray thee, pursue sentence.
A pound of that same merchant's flesh is thine. The court awards it, and the law doth give it.
Oh, most rightful judge.
And you must cut this flesh from off his breast. The law allows it, and the court awards it.
Most learned judge, a sentence. Come, prepare.
Tarry a little. There's something else. This bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. Take then thy bond, take thou thy pound of flesh. But in the cutting it, if thou dost shed one drop of Christian blood, thy lands and goods are by the laws of Venice confiscate unto the state of Venice.
O upright judge, mock Jew, O upright judge.
Is that the law?
Thyself shall see the act, for as thou urgest justice be assured, thou shalt have justice more than thou desirest.
O learned judge, mock Jew, O learned judge.
I take this offer then. Pay the bond thrice and let the Christian go.
Here's the money.
Soft! The Jew shall have all justice, soft, no haste. He shall have nothing but the penalty.
O Jew, an upright judge, a learned judge.
Therefore prepare thee to cut off the flesh. Shed thou no blood, nor cut thou less, no more, but just a pound of flesh. If thou cuttest more or less than a just pound, be it but so much as makes it light or heavy in the substance, or the division of the 20th part of one poor scribble, nay, if the scale do turn but in the estimation of a hair, thou diest and all thy goods are confiscate.
A second Daniel, a Daniel Jew. Now, infidel, I have you on the hip.
Why doth the Jew pause? Take thy fortitude.
Give me my principal and let me go.
I have it ready for thee. Here it is.
He hath refused it in the open court. He shall have merely his justice and his bond.
A Daniel, still say I, a second Daniel. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word.
Shall I not have barely my principal?
Thou shalt have nothing but the fortitude, to be so taken at thy peril, Jew.
Why then the devil give him good of it. I'll stay no longer questioning.
Tarry, Jew, the law hath yet another hold on you. It is enacted in the laws of Venice, that it be proved against an alien that by direct or indirect attempts he seek the life of any citizen, the party against that which he doth contrive shall seize one half his goods, the other half comes to the privy coffer of the state, and the offender's life lies in the mercy of the Duke only, against all other voice. In which predicament I say thou standest, for it appears by manifest proceeding that indirectly and directly too thou hast contrived against the very life of the defendant, and thou hast incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down therefore, and beg mercy of the Duke.
Beg that thou mayest have leave to hang thyself, and yet, thy wealth being forfeit to the state, thou hast not left the value of a cord. Therefore thou must be hanged at the state's charge.
That thou shalt see the difference of our spirits, I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it. For half thy wealth it is Antonio's, the other half comes to the general state, for which humbleness may drive unto a fine.
I, for the state, not for Antonio.
Nay, take my life and all. Pardon not that. You take my house when you do take the prop.
What mercy can you render him, Antonio?
A halter gratis, a hangman's noose. Nothing else, for God's sake.
So please my lord the Duke and all the court to quit the fine for one half of all his goods. I am content. So he will let me have the other half in use to render it upon his death unto the gentleman that lately stole his daughter. 2 things provided more, that for this favor he presently become a Christian, the other that he do record a gift here in the court of all he dies possessed unto his son Lorenzo and his daughter.
He shall do this, or else I do recant the pardon that I late pronounced here.
Art thou contented, Jew? What dost thou say?
I am content.
Clerk, draw a deed of gift.
I pray you, give me leave to go from hence. I am not well. Send the deed after me, and I will sign it.
Get thee gone, but do it.
In christening shalt thou have 2 godfathers. Had I been judged, thou should have 10 more, to bring thee to the gallows, not the font.